Hi everyone, today we are looking at a question like this. Now, this is a volume question and it is a very typical PSLE question. Okay, so make sure you watch the whole video. Now, as you can see over here, it says that P and Q are two rectangular containers. So we have P on the left, Q on the right. At first, container P contained water to the height of 18.5 cm. So this is the height of water. And container Q was only 2 cm. So, well, this is shown in the diagram, right? Now over here, they say that the volume of water in container P was 1,480. So what you want to do is quickly write down, okay, that the volume for P, all right, is actually equals to 1,480 centimeter cube. And because you have the height over here, you have the volume, you can quickly find the base area of container P, which is what they want us to find in A. So we are just going to write base area is equals to volume over height. So this is basically 1,480 over 18.5. Okay, so when you do that, you will get to an answer of 80 centimeters square. So therefore, over here, it's 80 centimeters square. Now, well, before you move on to Q, right, what you want to do is learn how to also find the volume of Q. Okay, so the volume of Q, as you can see over here, is 40 times 9, which is the base area, times the height. So over here is 720 centimeter cube. Okay, now very important. Now then we move on to the next one, right? This person decided to pour some water from container P into Q. All right, so I'm just going to zoom out so that you can see both. All right, without spilling. And after that, the height of the water level of P was the same as that of container Q. So when the height of the water level, okay, the height of the water level in both of the containers are the same, then this is where you will have to do it in this manner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down that the volume of P, okay, is at first 1480, okay, and the volume of Q, all right, is actually equals to 720. So what happens is that P is giving some water to Q, right? Now, then what happens is this, right? Is that some water came out. So some water came out. So we don't know what is the volume of P. All right. We also don't know what is the volume of Q. Okay, but what we know for sure is that the height of P is the same as the height of Q. So maybe we will just put height as H first because we don't know what is it. This height can be 10, can be 20, can be 30, can be 50. We don't know. Can be 5, right? So all we want to do is just write height first. Now, but there's one thing that doesn't change in container P, and that is the base area. No matter how much you pour or how much you take out, the base area will never ever change. You must always remember this, okay? So this is 80. And for this itself, right, for Q, the base area will also never change. And we can see over here that the base area is actually equals to 40 times 9, which is equals to 360 centimeters square. So what we want to do is we want to also write down 360. Now, there's one thing you know, right? And that is to find the volume, I will just have to put 80H over here because the volume is basically the base area times H, right? H, we don't know, all right? So maybe let me just be more specific. I'm just going to write 80 times H, which is equals to 80H. And for the volume of Q, it will then be 360 times H, and that gives me 360H. Now, we know that the height of the water level is the same. So we use H to represent, and they want us to find the new height of the water level in container Q. Now, do you remember just now, right, in the earlier part, I say that the volume of P is 1480. So isn't it true that 1480 is actually equals to 80H? Okay, I'm just going to highlight for you to see, isn't this the volume of P? And this is also the volume of P. So what happens now, right, is that you can see that the volume of P before and the volume of P after is definitely not the same because I've taken out something from here, all right, and put it into Q. All right, so the volume of Q before is also not the same as the volume of Q after, but there's one thing that is the same. Do you remember this concept called internal transfer? All right, now if you were to look at this, right, you realize all we are doing is just pouring water into Q, but the total volume never changes. So this is a concept under constant total. So what we want to do is to write down that our total for before is actually 1,480 plus 720, and that gives me 2,200. Now, for the total for after is also the same. However, I do not have the exact amount because I do not know what is the height, right? But you can be rest assured because the total doesn't change. So we can say that 440H is actually equals to 2,200. And we want to quickly find h, all right? So all we need to do is just 2,200 divided by 440. Okay, when I do 2,200 divided by 440, we get to an answer of 5 cm. So what exactly is this 5 cm? This 5 cm is the height of water level in P and water level in Q. So this h over here is actually 5 cm, and then this h over here is also equals to 5 cm. So therefore, the answer says, what was the new height of water level in container Q? Your answer has to be 5 centimeters.